So I figured that this question would probably come up sometime soon, just because of the video and the topics that I cover. But let's break this one down. So intentional weight loss, so you purposely saying, I want to lose 20 pounds, is fat phobic. And you might be like, what? Oh my goodness, I'm not trying to be fat phobic, but you are. You're being fat phobic to yourself. Why do you want to lose 20 pounds? It's probably to fit into something smaller. It's probably so people treat you better. It's probably for all the reasons that fat folks are shamed simply for being fat. So by continuing to perpetuate that, right, seeking intentional weight loss, we are contributing to our fat phobic society. So that's why intentional weight loss is fat phobic.
Hi, I'm a queer preschool teacher, and recently my videos ended up on the wrong side of TikTok. If you are gay or queer or a teacher or believe children should have the same rights adults have, could you please interact with this so I can maybe get back on the right side of TikTok? I'd really appreciate it. Thanks.
My kids from last year are now in 5th grade and they come visit me almost every day after school. And a lot of them are queer because I am queer. And they figured it out. And so I've become their safe space. And today they found my Guess Who. And they started playing Guess Who, but they didn't play it the normal way. How did they play it? They used things like, this person looks like a lesbian baddie who's gonna come over and make you dinner. Well, which one of these characters is a lesbian baddie that's gonna come over and make you dinner? Oh, Olivia is? Oh, great. Which character just looks gay? Well, meet Mike. These kids, I'm so happy that they are figuring out who they are and that they're happy with who they are and that they found a safe place. But man, I could never imagine being in 5th grade saying these things out loud, even though I know they're all okay. I grew up super religious where nothing was okay. And so seeing this happen, I'm like, but I'm also like, yay, but
Okay, I would describe xenogenders as a gender that could not typically be described with terms such as masculinity, femininity, neutrality, androgyny, things like that. It's more of not how you relate to a particular gendered experience, but more of how you relate to things. For example, cake gender. I know a few people who personally use this. It's typically described as them feeling light and fluffy or sweet and warm, and it's not something that you could typically describe with the terms masculine, feminine, androgynous, etc. Another example of cake gender would be if someone feels like they have different layers or flavors to their particular gender.
I'm still really emotional about that video because this year alone I have 3 transgender students who, the reason why I'm getting emotional is because if I contact home or anyone outside of my classroom about these students, I have to use their dead name and their assigned at birth pronouns and stuff because it's not safe for them to be out or their parents have refused to accept them. And the reason why they told me, for some of them, the only reason why they're out in my classroom, they're not even out in other classrooms, is because they saw my they them mug and my they them pens. And so it's really emotional.
So, because pronouns, those are all the pronouns, but you used they for those 2 sentences. Why did you use they?
Because how was I supposed to know if it was a they, them, a he, or a she?
You didn't feel like the name was a clue? No? Why not?
Because you always say nothing is a boy thing and nothing is a girl thing.
Nothing is a boy thing and nothing is a girl thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do I grade this paper?
I don't know.
I should give it an A because it's what I taught. That's what I taught you about being non-binary.
So my pride flag was accidentally visible while I was in a Zoom, and I work with 9th graders and also middle schoolers, and I was really nervous at first, and I was like, oh my God, they're gonna know I'm gay. And then what happened was 3 students individually messaged me and came out to me. I'm still freaking out about how beautiful and heartwarming it was. And my heart literally like exploded with joy each time, because when I was their age, I didn't have any queer role models or any queer adults that I could talk to about these things. But these whole interactions helped me realize 2 really important things that I wanted to share with you. So first of all, I realized that like just existing and living our lives as queer people in a way makes the world better, because it allows other people and gives other people permission to be who they are. Also, it's literally never too early to talk about LGBTQ identity or being queer. Like, our society tells us that being queer is somehow taboo, but straight people talk about their relationships and girlfriends and boyfriends all the time to kids.
I am an out teacher at my school, out as both bisexual and trans, and a lot of other teachers on TikTok were wondering how I managed coming out to my students. And it's a really interesting story. So this was right before the pandemic. I came back to my school after being away from it for a while, during which time I transitioned. So none of the kids knew me as trans, but I wanted to talk about it. So what I did is, as soon as I came back, I joined up with the GSA, realized how many questions the kids had, and decided the best thing to do would be to host a Q&A. So the kids made up a whole bunch of flyers, and then one day during lunch, we hosted the tea talk. It was a triple entendre of T as in trans, T as in spilling the tea, and T as in we literally served them tea. It was great. It was a huge success. So many people showed up. We didn't have nearly enough tea for everyone. And I spent about 10 minutes talking about the difference between gender, sex, and sexual orientation, and then also talking about my own life story, sort of like the highlight reel of how I decided to come out. And then for the remaining 30 minutes, the kids asked questions and I gave answers wherever I felt comfortable. None of the kids asked anything too intrusive, so it was fine. The 6th graders asked a lot of literal fact-based questions, like asking what certain terms meant and stuff like that. And the 8th graders asked stuff that was more emotional, like how did it feel to do, or what was the hardest part about blah, blah, blah. It was a really great opportunity. A lot of the kids, I came to realize, had so much in them, so much welling up that they wanted to talk about or ask about, and they just didn't know how to do that. Maybe they wanted to share some of their own experiences. Maybe they wanted to know how to be a better ally. Maybe they just wanted to know they weren't alone. But without a sort of formalized event, they didn't feel comfortable coming to me and asking me these questions that I was so ready to answer.
Hello, since there's so many new people, I kind of wanted to give you a rundown of some topics that I will be covering in my TikTok here in my account, and sort of what I believe in and what I will be talking about, okay? Children and teenagers deserve respect and should be listened to. Parents do not own their children. Abortion is healthcare and should remain legal. If you want to educate yourself on a specific topic, speak with the people living it. For example, if you want to learn about racism, speak with people of color. If you want to learn about misogyny, speak with women. Black women are beautiful goddesses and should be treated accordingly. And finally, until it is no men, it is all men. Your argument is invalid, sir. If you find yourself aligning with my beliefs, then welcome. I'm so happy to have you here. If not, no problem. You can.
And one day her trusted art and homeroom teacher invited her to stay after school for art club. So she texted us and we gave our permission. Of course you can stay for art club. When she arrived in the classroom that day, she very quickly learned that it was actually GSA art club, or gender and sexuality awareness. And her trusted teacher had invited in an outside presenter to speak with the children. This presenter started with her number 1 rule: what you hear in here stays in here. She then brought out flags to describe different umbrella terms or defining words, as she called them, and how people feel under each of the flags. She explained to my daughter that if she is not 100% comfortable in her female body, then she's transgender. She then gave out flags, stickers, bracelets, and what she called the obligatory toys that kids love to collect everywhere I go. She then told the kids that parents aren't safe, and that it's okay to lie to them about where they are in order to attend this meeting and also future programming that she holds throughout the community, both online and in person. Some of the programming is actually includes adults. So she's got 12-year-olds in these meetings secretly with adults. She told the kids that she brought out the genderbread activity. I don't know if you've ever seen that before, but The genderbread person activity, which explains that gender and sexuality are on a spectrum and that neither can ever be binary. It explicitly asked the kids who they're sexually attracted to. There was 11, 12, and 13-year-olds in the room when this happened. She doubled down that parents aren't safe, that heterosexuality and monogamy are not normal. And she then proceeded to hand out her personal contact information to the kids, encouraging them to connect with her without their parents' knowledge, by cell phone, by email, and by teen chat platforms like WhatsApp and Discord, where parents can't see the communication. She also sends them invites to her secret meetings through these channels.